All right, so growing up, my parents always took me to church. I went every Sunday. It was kind of a thing to do, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I kind of just went because my parents made me. That's how really growing up was. And then suddenly I had to stop going to church because I played sports in middle school, and my games, I had tournaments and they'd be on Sunday. So I eventually stopped going, and since I didn't really go to church, it didn't really matter to me because I was more focused on sports than anything. Playing baseball was something that I really wanted to do growing up, so I didn't really care for anything else besides that. So really not going to church did not affect me at all. Next thing I know, I just stopped going to church, never really went. I always believed in God, believed in that. I just never went to church to start my journey the right way. And basically up through high school, my junior year, I did not do anything with church and all that. So in my group of friends, I had this one friend named Jalen, and he went to the crossing. He was connected with God, but I never had that. So all of my friends went to CIY, and one of the people there asked Jalen, or asked everyone, they said, bring someone that you want to invite to the crossing. And Jalen, he texted me that day, and he texted me, he's like, hey, I want you to start coming to the crossing. And I was a little hesitant considering I'd never been to church in a while, but I was like, okay, I'll come because you asked. And yeah, and then it was the last service of my junior year. So the start of my senior year, and I went, and it was so different. I've never experienced anything like that. They were doing worshiping, and Reynald, he played Reckless Love, and that was the first time I have ever felt God's presence in anything. I never really knew God was it was a feeling, and that's the first time I actually felt him next to me, with me. And that whole my whole junior year summer, I was sinning and stuff. So the fact that I felt that, I just broke down, and I knew right there that something I wanted to start coming to the crossing every week, because I've never felt anything like that. And for that to happen, it just I thank Jalen so much for that day all the time, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know what I would be doing. It would not be good. So starting my senior year, I started going to the church every week. It was great, but I didn't feel like I was still happy. I still felt like I was going through dark things. I was praying to God this time, which I never did before. So it was great, and I didn't know what I was asking for. I just asked to be happy. So whatever that was, and basically from August to January, I was just in a dark place, and I didn't know how to get out of it. This time it felt different because I knew I went to church every week, and I knew I should be getting better, but I didn't know why I still wasn't. I don't know why I was still sinning. Even though I went to church, I learned. I went to church on Sundays, everything. I was doing all that, and I still couldn't. I was still sinning. I was still in a dark place. Still was not happy. My two friends, Jose and Jalen, they were telling me about how they got baptized at the beach at the camp last year. And I knew I always wanted to do it. I was ready. And then when everything happened, when CIY got canceled, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was everything's not going right for me. What am I supposed to do now? And then we had senior weekend, and that weekend also changed my life. I feel because after that whole summer quarantine, all that stuff, I felt so alone. Everything was not going for me. But then we went to senior weekend, and it felt so good, being with the church again after not, because they had the online stuff, I never watched it. I just separated from the church, and it was, I was going back to my old self, and I did not want that. So going back to senior weekend, it felt so good reuniting with everyone from the church, everyone in my group, my small group, everything. So we were having a talk, and Max, he was talking about how he just talks to God, not necessarily prays, he just talks. And that actually stuck with me, because after that weekend, I started just talking to him. I didn't do all this, I didn't pray, I just would talk, and it felt so good. It felt like God was with me. It felt like I was actually in his presence, and he was in my presence. It was something I've never felt before. And that's when I knew, I was like, I was like, I'm with God now. I can take this next step. Reynald, he happened to become a pastor not too long after. And I was like, Reynald was there for me. He was the reason I'm still here at this church. And Jalen was the reason I'm still here at this church. So I called Reynald and I said, hey, can you baptize me? I'll really appreciate it. He was like, yeah, man, of course. He was so down. And Jalen, yeah, man, of course. Like it was amazing. And then on one of the Wednesday services, they baptized me like on the live, and ever since then I've been at a peace with life. Like this is the closest I've ever been with God in my life, like right now, and it's amazing. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like I'm better. I'm better. I'm not who I was last year, and now I even serve every week, and just being here is amazing. I love being around everyone here. I love serving. Like knowing that I help out at a church is just like, I never thought I'd be doing that. If someone asked me last year, would you be at a church next year? I would not say. I would be like, no, I'm doing something else. And you were laughing behind the camera. And yeah, honestly, just being here it's amazing. It's amazing being here. That's all I can say, really. Yeah, I love it here.